Can Tesla be profitable? What about by the end of the next quarter? One guy believes absolutely. It's Elon Musk. Yep, he just tweeted and he said Tesla is going to be profitable next quarter and the quarter after that. Go figure. We're going to talk about that, his CBS interview, and a few other tweets that he kind of stirred things up. And of course, other news and comment of the day. Today is a video. Kind of excited about that. So let's get going right now.
Taking over the world, electrifying the world, electric.
If you are watching me on Patreon Live, welcome. Thank you for supporting the channel. If you're watching me on YouTube, please consider subscribing so you can become part of this community and don't miss anything moving forward. All right, so Elon Musk believes that Tesla is going to be profitable next quarter, Q3. He actually replied to, and this is a tweet to The Economist, that believed that he would have to raise money. And Elon Musk, in a very Trumpish, I have to say, tweet once again. You know, by the way, think what you want about Trump, but even Trump supporters who like the guy, really don't like the way Trump tweets. And I really feel like Elon Musk is doing the same thing. Look at this tweet. The Economist used to be boring but smart with a wicked dry wit. Now is just boring. Sigh. Why? Why? You're CEO of the company, dude. First of all, you don't have to reply to everyone's tweets. Okay? If you believe your company is going to be profitable, put it in your report. You just had a quarterly report. You can release a statement. You have a PR department. Utilize them. But tweeting it out, trying to insult others is just, I really dislike this. I really dislike this. But anyway, so he basically said that Tesla will be cash flow positive in Q3 and Q4. So he says, so obviously no need to raise money. Okay, but Elon, come on, buddy. You know those are two different things. First of all, great that you're going to be profitable. I know you said before that once the production hits 5,000 units per week for Model 3, this is where you become profitable. And that's what happens, I'm assuming, by the end of Q2 from what you're saying. That's great. But, and so, yeah, that's great. But one, you don't have to be profitable, I believe. But secondly, that is not mutually exclusive with raising money. Right? You can still raise money. I mean, like, for example, Model Y thing is coming up. I don't know if you've heard. You know, you might be profitable. You may not make enough profits to actually invest enough to speed up that production ramp up and preparation. There's nothing wrong with raising money. And gee, it looks like no one has a problem with giving it to you. So why? You go ahead and be profitable. Great news. Great, awesome news. But also, you can still raise money if you need to. And no reason for this, dude. Really no reason for this. I really don't understand. Tesla has been doing fine in the recent couple of weeks after this quarter started. Obviously, the Model 3 production has been ramping up. Yes, I know some people are still doubting it, but, you know, based on everything we kind of know and estimates and all that stuff, that, you know, they are doing very well, and it looks like it is reasonable to expect that he does hit the production rate of 5,000 per week at the end of this quarter in 3 months. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. But let me know in the chat room or in the comment section if you're watching on the replay. What do you think? Is this a right way for Elon to communicate on Twitter, first of all, and secondly, kind of always take jabs and, you know, and people who are criticizing him? I'll show you another tweet from early this week. Excuse me, that I also thought was kind of uncalled for, but yeah. Anyway, before I move on to the next one, let me remind you that this channel and this video is sponsored by Evernex, the aftermarket accessories for Tesla. The discount code is in the description of this video. All right, let's talk about the Elon Musk interview with CBS yesterday. Quite a few things come out of it, but before that, let me explain something. So remember this brand Byton that I covered their world premiere, world unveiling at CES. I really like that brand. So I'm actually going to Italy, to Milan for the Milan Design Week, where they're having their own sort of European premiere there. So I'm looking forward to covering that. So I will do the interview with Rich tomorrow, and after that I'm flying to Italy. I will still have the Sunday a news segment. I'll record it live tonight and I'll post it on Sunday. And then I have a few videos just about topics we talked about in a comment section that I'm going to be automatically kind of posting for you guys every morning until I'm back on Thursday. And then we'll catch up on the news. So just heads up on that. All right. So Elon Musk gave an interview at CBS. And first of all, apparently he has a lot of time, right? Is there a reason that he needs to be on television right now? I thought he didn't even have time to shower, right? Because, you know, he was sleeping on the factory's floor, but apparently he has a time for this big production piece with CBS. Okay, fine. Now, a couple of things that, came out of this interview, and one thing that I don't really like is that, you know, obviously she asked him about, you know, hey, dude, what's up with the autopilot, right? Because they were talking about the crash and all of that stuff. And he basically said, you know, that it performed the way it should. And she said, well, why have this damn thing? And that's my question, right? If you have to keep your hands on the wheel and eyes on the road, what's the purpose of autopilot? But so his answer was kind of like, well, you know, because autopilot keeps you safer than, you know, if most people driving it. And, you know, statistically, it's true almost by 4 times. You know, when the autopilot is engaged, you know, there are 4 times less accidents and fatalities. And that's great. But at the same time, okay, in my case, fine. But you're assuming that people will still not override the autopilot, right? Because if I think the autopilot is wrong and I want to take over the wheel, and it looks like I am 4 times as much, you know, possible to be wrong, then I'm going to take over and probably make that mistake, right? So I don't like that answer. I just, you know, there's got to be a better answer than, hey, it's still going to do better than you, but make sure to take over if you disagree. I feel like it's contradicting. Let me know in the chat or in the comment section if you feel the same. But let's talk about the 101 crash, because, you know, that story will continuously keep on giving. And as you know, Elon had a bit of a Twitter, again, another Twitter war with NTSB. Basically, they were unhappy that he released information about the autopilot, and I believe he should have all the right to release this information. This is important to his company and to his customers and everything. And I did not like that. Again, just the way he kind of approaches everybody who says anything that's negative about him or Tesla, whatever. Again, this tweet could have been phrased better, you know. Again, why Twitter? Why Twitter? He's not even replying to the NTSB. He's replying to the Tesla Motors Club. Really have time to browse their Twitter feed? Anyway, so here's the thing. From what I understand, when you become a party to investigation, that helps them obviously to have you as part of the, you know, helping them with the investigation, but also you kind of have some influence and control over it. So getting into this little fight, and now I don't think it was a smart idea, but if those rules are correct and you're supposed to obey by them, then yes, I agree. Then, you know, Tesla shouldn't have released this statement about the autopilot. They should have said, you know what, we don't want to be a party to it because we want to keep our customers updated, or don't become the party to it. Well, apparently now that they said that, and NTSB kicked them out. They said, listen, you violated the rules and therefore you can be party to this. I think it's going to be damaging to Tesla because they have less say and participation in the investigation. That's, you know, its conclusion is going to be very important to its autopilot product. So I think it's a mistake. You know, this is, you know, remember we had a conversation whether or not Elon should be the CEO. Maybe he should just step down and, you know, be in charge of innovation and engineering and stuff like that. Well, this is the type of stuff that makes me and some other people say that, because this is not good for the company. Okay? So, but at the same time, Tesla fired back in a statement that was also kind of like a little bit of challenge. They were saying, well, you know, you break your own rules too, you know, so there, you know, and then on top of that, they said, well, you guys also investigating one of the safest features on the car, but you don't investigate the unsafe cars out there. I wonder why that is. And I guess they're going to be filing some court procedures to recover that information, and because they want to find out why. You know, again, I just don't like the tone of voice. It could be a little bit more respectful to the investigation. You have to work with these guys. There are 3 investigations right now ongoing with Tesla and NTSB. I'm sure there will be others. No need to get into this just because of one thing. And listen, it does look like Tesla did violate their rule, regardless of what rule they might be violating themselves. You know, that's something that should be like, you know, behind the scenes. So I disagree with that, and it's very unfortunate. Lucas in the chat room says Tesla should drop the price for Autopilot to $1,000 to $1,500. Update name to Assistant or something similar. Make it easier to understand, meaning how does it work for common people to avoid misunderstandings. We've been having this discussion in the comment section forever. I absolutely agree with this. The price is too much for what it is, which is not much for myself. And yeah, I believe the name is a little misleading, even though yes, it technically operates the way it should be, and Tesla tells everybody exactly what to expect from it. But yeah, no, listen, I agree with you, man. Absolutely. And by the way, that was a comment from Lucas on Patreon. Thank you for watching me. I stream this live on Patreon every time for those to contribute. Of course, I repost it right away on YouTube. But if you want to participate, please go ahead and contribute to the show. I really appreciate it. Definitely goes a long way for the production. As you know, I'm traveling to Europe this week, and there's just so many different equipment and travel expenses that I have. So I really appreciate you guys contributing. Here's a story I completely forgot about yesterday. Not really sure why it kind of, I had the graphics done, but Tesla is changing their CPO program. I'm not really sure if it's going to be even called that, but apparently, so right now, you can get a certified pre-owned Tesla from Tesla. They do the checkpoint, and then they also clean up any cosmetic issues. Well, they said they're going to stop doing that because there will be a big influx of people like me returning their 2015 Teslas from their leases, and basically they just don't have time for this, I guess. So basically they're not going to clean them up or get them up to speed cosmetically, which kind of causes a problem because you don't get to see those cars a lot of times, and the pictures are not very available. So now they're saying that, yeah, if you request pictures, they will try to get them to you, but it's kind of per request thing only. So if you want to buy a CPO car from Tesla, you're going to have to kind of, you know, gamble almost. So you know, I don't, we'll see. I'm not looking to buy one from them, but it is definitely kind of a step down, and really for no particular reason. Let me know in the comment section if you agree. And by the way, if you're watching this on YouTube, please give this video a thumbs up to help it out. Just push it out there to the rest of the world just a little bit. Let's talk about the Mercedes and their new electric van. It's called e-Sprinter, and this is a van for, I'm assuming people will use it. This is a passenger van, you know, for shuttles, corporate shuttles, hotels and so forth. But I gotta tell you, I'm always excited. You know, Mercedes has been, you know, up there. They've invested in far as electric car movement. They've invested the money, and they're just about to come up with their EQ series. They've been ramping up, and I like that. But this van is going to have a couple of options of the batteries. One is going to have like a little over 70-mile range, and another one is going to be, I think, 93-mile range. And to me, at this point of the game, anything under 100 miles is just absolutely unacceptable. Now, you can get away with it, like, for example, Workhorse and others have small delivery vans for local deliveries, and that seems to be enough, 100 miles a day, at least for one shift for them. Obviously, more would be better, so but that's acceptable. But for the van that's going to be doing nothing but going back and forth, a lot of, you know, shuttling people around, this is nothing. So I have to say, Mercedes, disappointing, a little bit disappointing, certainly. Let me remind you guys that tomorrow I'm going to have Rich of Rich Rebuilds on my show. Really looking forward to it. Let me know what questions you have for him. And I have a pretty cool lineup for the next few weeks. After that, I'm going to be streaming live and posting about the Cali road trip. We're going to go from the one of the biggest superchargers in the United States to Avila Beach. TeslaTakeover.com is where you can register and join us there. Then Zach and Jesse, looking forward to that. Then I got John LaFleur. He's a VP at Workhorse. I've interviewed him at CES, so looking forward to that. And Henrik Fisker, they got back to me yesterday, and he is officially on schedule on May 12th. So I'm looking forward to that as well. All right, guys, let's move on to comment of the day. And this one is a video comment of the day. So I'm kind of excited about it. Feel free to do the same thing, because obviously you get the top of the stack. And by the way, I'm not able to reply as many comments lately just because there's so many, and now with my trip to Italy I might have to skip a few, so I'm sorry about that, but I will still answer all of the comments on Patreon there. So let's hear the question from Ross.
Greetings, this is Ross from Columbus, Ohio. I'd like to open up a discussion. Do you think Tesla should open up its autopilot platform to allow users to be able to make corrections for the system? Like Google does with its map system, where you can pick a point on the map, say, hey, this is where autopilot failed, and then either look at the video feed for it and point out corrections like, oh, lanes are really over here, or you should really stay this way. Or at least have a submit button on your dash where you can easily press a button and say, hey, here's an issue, and it can submit it to Tesla for review and update.
Hey there. Yes, good question and good idea. First, let's talk about the legal. I'm not really sure if legally this is something that might make sense, because if they're going to start crowdsourcing the autopilot bug fixes or whatever, I wonder if there's some legal liabilities there where they are relying on public and therefore kind of admitting that it's not perfect. But if that's fine, then I don't see why not. Basically, I mean, this works with like even Craigslist, right? I mean, it's basically where community polices its own product and helps it makes better. Whenever your app crashes on your phone, at least on Android, there's always a message saying, hey, your app crashed. Is that okay if your phone sends us a report about what went wrong? So yeah, no, this is a good idea, because, you know, that way you're right. You know, all the camera footage and all the coordinates and all of the logs can be transferred to Tesla and said, hey, listen, my autopilot kind of screwed up here. Can you take a look at it, right? And so absolutely. I mean, I think it's a great idea. Again, legally speaking, I'm not that sure. Now, they are crowdsourcing the micro mapping, from what I understand, for a long time, where the more distances and more all this Tesla's drives there, it kind of paves out the maps of not just the roads but the lanes, right, and more common routes and stuff like that. However, I'm assuming they're not using it, because otherwise we wouldn't have this crash on 101 the other day. So they looks like they're getting the data but not able to use it just yet. But I absolutely agree with you. This is a really great idea. All right, guys. So tomorrow, don't forget, tune in for interview with Rich Rebuilt. Really looking forward to it. But Patreons, I will stream live tonight for the weekend recap, and I'll post it on YouTube on Sunday. All right, I'm way over time once again, but don't forget to tune in tomorrow. I'm definitely looking forward to it. And so, of course, remember to stay charged.